Right. Hello. How's everybody? In the my haul videos when I got this new etcher sketchbook, and since then I've painted it, but I ran out of the color. I wanted it to be all this color, and it only went to about here, so I painted a darker green on the back. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's still a little bit wet, which is why I have all this stuff down. But I thought I would start my little bird series. These pages are really stuck together, so I think I'm going to start on this page. All right, so the first bird in this series is going to be the Oriole. And I start out drawing it from the top. I'm looking at a reference photo on my iPad, and it ends up being too high up or too large. So I was able to erase it easily because I'm using the watercolor pencil. And I started using the shape method like I've been learning in those 10-step books, which works really well for me, and got it to fit on there a little bit better. So of course I love the Orioles because they're orange, my favorite color. They should be showing up here in a couple of weeks anyway. Last year was the first year I was able to get them to come to my feeders. I found out what they like to eat. I had previously put out the orange nectar, and they didn't really like it all that much, but I put out the grape jelly last year, and they wouldn't stop coming. So that's what I'm going to do again this year. I was having a little... It was hard for me to get the feet to look how I wanted, so I started with just the shape, just to get me past it. So I just sort of looked at it, did the shape of it, and later in I went in and sort of did the details of the toes. Yeah, sometimes it's easier just to do that. If you feel stuck, just get the shape and move on. All right, so after I felt pretty happy with the bird, the way I'd drawn it, I did some outlining with my Derwent line maker. It's waterproof, so I know it's not going to just smudge when I start adding the watercolor to it. Or did I use ink? The bird is black and orange, but it's obviously not pure black, so I took... I think this is my gray color. This is the Sennelier ink brush pen, and I would either brush it down or I would just take a wet brush and hit the tip of it and just spread it out a little bit, so you'd get a dark color but not necessarily dark black. And see here I'm adding dark black, but I do take a brush to it and spread it out a little, so it's not pure black. It just tends to be easier. The brush pens are very concentrated, so I didn't want to just go in like a maniac with them. I always like getting the eye done before it's too far into it. It makes it look more alive, more real when you do the eyes. So I'm adding a little bit of, even though it's black, I'm adding a little bit of shadow to certain points on the bird, and then I'm just going to put the color on top of it so I don't have to darken that color. Yay, here's some color. I couldn't wait to put this down because it's such a gorgeous color. think I used probably 4 different colors. I used a couple of oranges, a yellow, and like a reddish orange. And you just, no matter how much color I put down, I feel like I just can't match the brightness of these birds when they're actually in front of you, but I did my best. The one part I just didn't feel like I was getting right was just at the top where his tail starts. Not at the end, but where it starts. I just was having a little trouble trying to give it some, I guess, shadow. But the shadow just, I don't know. I wasn't, at the end I kind of worked it out, but it just didn't look, even though I was drawing it the way it looked, there was something I wasn't getting. But I think I ended up adding enough shadow near the end that it worked. But, you know, it wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. So I did the similar thing with the background as I did with the bird. I would brush down the color with the ink brush, and then I would sort of slosh it around with a wet paintbrush to spread it out. It made the color not as consistent if I had done that first. If I had done just the background, it would have been a lot smoother looking, but I'll remember for next time. I love the blue and the orange together. They always bounce off each other really nicely. It makes the colors more vibrant when you use, complementary colors with each other. So I always love to use a little blue when I do orange. So I must have worked a little bit more on the branch. The branch kind of looks, I tried to get shadows at the top, at the bottom, and then under where the bird was at the top. But right now it looks like it's pretty much one shade. I think I did work on it a little bit more. But yeah, and I added a little bit of green for these leaves. I just didn't want to leave the branch he was sitting on, empty. I wanted a little bit of interest on it. So I went in again with the Derwent line maker to add some details to clean up the edges. This particular ink will spread a little bit, kind of like a liquid watercolor, so I just went in to sharpen up the edges. Also, to do the head of the bird, to give it more of a feather-like look, I did a lot of tiny little lines, and I think it came out really well with the effect I was trying to get. Did add a little more black there, but and yeah, now the branch looks a little better. I had to add a little bit of white because he did have very strong white feathers showing in the photo I was working from. So I used my little Signo gel pen and had to add a little bit of highlight to the eye and the beak too. Now I'm done. I should have done the background first. I should have done the background and then worked on top, because this stuff it's water based, so it'll bleed. But I think I fixed up most of it with the line marker. So yeah, that's my first little bird. Although I want to add a little more yellow to this. Let's do that. This needs a little more yellow. Hopefully that was interesting to watch. I hope you like these because I do plan on doing more. This is a project I've had in mind for a while and I just didn't get around to it, but now I'm getting around to it, so that's what I'm doing. Oh, thanks for watching. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.